Hello, lovely Gemini crew. As you guys know, I call you the Best Friends Club because there's so many of you in my life who are great friends that stick by my side, talk through things with me. I can call at any time, and you guys are right there. So, hello and welcome to April, a month that has it's an enigma. That's what I would say with this month. It has an enigmatic quality to it that's a little bit mysterious and a little bit surprising and a little bit like one of those months where it only makes sense when you look back over it, which is, that's our lives. Our destinies are something we only understand when we look back, but some months just have that feeling to them, and this is one of them. The note that came up for gems this month was that you want to take stock of where you're using your energy, right? Where you feel you are putting your energy, where that's feeling rewarding, and where that is feeling a little lackluster or a little bit repetitive. There's also something going on with the Gemini family where your answers are coming in these very quiet moments where there isn't any movement. So if you are feeling like you aren't getting the messages you want to get, or you are waiting for there to be clarity, cards are already popping out. Hermit. Interesting. And you're waiting for all that. This is one of those months where the quiet's going to give you just as much information as any kind of conversation or phone call or interaction is going to give you. So trusting into the quiet a little bit, trusting into that energetic space is going to be a big part of your homework this month. And this is where you're going to be getting a lot of the goods. So there's a few things going on this month. We have a new moon in Aries, which is really nice for you guys. It gives you that 11th house community-oriented energy, kind of assessing where you're putting your energy with community. We have a Libra full moon, a second Libra full moon this year in a row. We had a 0-degree Libra full moon in March, and now we're having a 29-degree full moon in Libra in April on around the 19th, right around when Taurus season begins. And for you, this is really good energy, right? This is heart chakra, creative energy. You're getting a revolution in how you are creatively using your energy, how you are expressing your heart chakra energy in this world. And we are needing to assess that, gems. Eight of Swords. Okay, so you can see already the first two cards are very introspective, slow down cards. These cards are not about looking out at the rest of the world and seeing how other people are talking to you, other people are communicating. These two figures are very much about how they are connecting with themselves, how they are using their mental abilities to connect with themselves. So I'm already seeing that there's almost, I don't think you guys are actually isolated. It's not like that. It's not like on the surface world you are doing your thing, things are moving, you're talking to people, you're hanging out, you're doing your fun things. Underneath that, there is this kind of aloneness that's going on. So you have these big moons that are actually quite symbiotic. King of Wands. Okay, yep. There's some answers coming through right after a time of introspection. You have this quiet time where you are really reassessing, you are really checking in with your energy. The other thing that's going on here that kind of changes the character of the next few months, and it's something that happens every year for several months, but 3 outer planets are going retrograde, which is a really useful thing because it helps us to do subtler tweaks to our bigger picture. So Hierophant, of course. You are getting some very strong energy of assessment. I'm just going to say that right now. Strong assessment energy is coming through for you guys. 3 outer planets are going retrograde. So we have Jupiter going retrograde on April 10th in Sagittarius, in your oppositional sign, right, in your relational sign. And so for you, you are assessing where you're putting energy when it comes to relationships, right? You are taking some time to not be go, 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 expand, 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 but maybe to really think about where you want to put that energy. Knight of Cups, okay. And so we have that. We have Pluto going retrograde on April 4th in Capricorn. That will be until October 3rd, and then we have Saturn going retrograde in Capricorn around the 29th, and that will last until September. So the next few months we are going to be working through retrogrades. High Priestess, wow. And we are going to be checking in with our our bigger destinies. So gems, you guys are, you're ruled by Mercury. You are used to working the way Mercury works. And of course, Mercury is direct in April. He will be getting out of post-shadow phase by the second half of the month when we start to head into Taurus season. And then, of course, for you guys, also another thing to keep in mind is that once Mercury is direct, your ruling planet's direct, and moving forward back through Pisces, which is happening all of April, you are also heading into Taurus season, which is this prep season right before your birthdays, where you also have to reassess. You can kind of see how all the energy is working in concert to say, let's find the answers tucked away, hidden. Two of Pentacles. I'm going to wait for one more card and then we will talk through this. But you can see how the energy is very much about you. Nine of Cups. Ooh, I like the Nine of Cups there at the end. That's contentedness, right? Contentedness with the internal process, contentedness with the quiet, contentedness with what you have. The more you practice into that, the more by the end of the month you are going to have what you want. You're going to have the answers you want. You're going to have the fullness and the richness of life that you want, that you've been kind of wondering if it's going to show up. You've been kind of wondering what that's going to look like, right? So I like that the Nine of Cups is at the end. But this is it's a funny month because it isn't about the big splash on the external all the time. It is about revamping. It is about reworking. It is about remolding. It's got a kind of alchemist energy to it that I think in our fast-paced world doesn't always feel so reassuring and can honestly feel a little bit like you're just like there's almost just this element of chaos, even though there's a greater order kind of working with us. So, okay, so like I mentioned with these first two that came out, these are introspective cards. Now, the Hermit is a little bit more able to see, right? He has his lantern, and he has that ability to seek using that light. And I think that's a great way to think about your mental processes with the Hermit. Whereas the Eight of Swords woman she's kind of at the mercy of fearful thinking, so you can get in your own way. Now, I always say with the Eight of Swords, this is an energy of right before you have a big breakthrough, you have this almost uncomfortable moment where you feel tied up, you feel kind of stuck, and you feel really blind. And the Eight of Swords has become notorious in my book for being the energy that pops up right before something makes sense. Right? So I almost get this sense that you guys, at the beginning of April, as you move into this energy, are feeling a little bit like you don't quite know what to do, where to put your foot next, how to use your energy next, where to focus your attention. And you're kind of doing this work behind the scenes. Like, this is stuff other people aren't going to see. Some people may not even understand it or really understand what you're doing or what's going on with you or why you're kind of showing up a little bit more, a little quieter, a little more reserved, a little bit introspective, even a little sad. There's like almost a melancholy to this, but this is a really important part of your process this month before we start hitting into this richer moving energy, because the thing is you have a time here to sit with the quiet and internalize something. And like I said, the Eight of Swords almost always comes before a big infusion of energy, which look at these next three cards. King of Wands, Hierophant, Knight of Cups. We are looking at three very active and creative and intense energies, quite honestly. Especially, Knight of Cups is a little milder. But the thing with the King of Wands and the Hierophant that I'm noticing, you guys, these are strong personalities. These are personalities that can be stubborn. They have a way that they see things getting done. They have a way that they lead and move through their world that they think is correct. There can be an intensity to the the King of Wands and the Hierophant. They're each leaders in their own way, and they each have a vision of the world. So I almost get the sense you have these personalities around you. And it's funny because they're coming at you with their vision of what they think needs to happen, but they don't realize that you have been doing this over here, that you have been really assessing situations and doing some deep diving and quietly minding your own business and coming to some conclusions that make sense for you. And so they can come at you with all of their stubborn viewpoint that they want. But you you may or may not take them up on that offer. Now, these are relatively stable energies. These are energies that want to come in and build something, create something, make something happen. They want to come in with clear answers, clear directives, and a clear vision for the future. And it is about the future. It is about shifting the future. And I mean, one of the things to keep in mind with this April energy is that this is the first full months we've had where Uranus is in Taurus, right? He's been in Taurus. He was in Taurus last year before he started going retrograde and went back into Aries, but then he just got back to Taurus in March. And now this is like, we're really getting used to this new transit, and the Hierophant is very deeply associated with Taurus. And this idea of revolution in the ground, in the earthiness, rather than revolution up in the fiery realms, we are now having revolution in this fixed earth sign. And what that revolution looks like, it's very different. We're having to use different skill sets to understand how to change our lives up. We're having to use different skill sets in how change and productivity comes into our lives. And we are getting used to that. So people are coming at us, we're having conversations, and some of that, it feels a little different, it feels a little foreign almost to have these conversations and be trying to get to the heart of the issues. I feel like you guys have something you need and want from one or both of these personalities, or a personality that encompasses this. You're wanting that kind of clarity, in fact, and I think this person coming forward is going to be a really reassuring moment for you guys. And there's almost an element, I mean, there is an element of an offer being made, right? The Knight of Cups is so offertorial in his energy. He rides forward with something to give. You know, he's a very good house guest because he always brings a present. But the Knight of Cups is very much about offering something up, putting an offering out there. Now, that can be about a peace offering, that can be about a love offering, and that can be about a creative offering. It's very tied to our emotional, intuitive senses. So something's being given to you. Something's being opened up to you. All three of these characters are very much about communication and wanting to open doors, and wanting to open up possibilities, and wanting to be open to the future and to the possibilities of what this connection could bring. And there is something about that coming after a time where it was very quiet and you were kind of feeling like, is anybody ever going to write to me again or call me again, right? There's an offering being made. But this is what's interesting about you guys this month. And this is where I'm saying, like, the answers are kind of in the quiet for you, and they're kind of in the revisionary process you have going on, because you get those clarities, you get those really strong personalities coming at you, wanting to give you something, and it sends you right back into introspective mode. It sends you right back into this really deep, powerful, quiet, behind the scenes energy that is about your intuitive process. Now, here's the thing that's really interesting. So High Priestess is deeply connected to our intuitive process. I mean, she's very much energy behind the scenes, you know, the unseen energy, the world of mystery, really water ruled. She's very deeply associated with Isis as well, and any of the fertility goddesses with the water element. But she is tied into this Two of Pentacles, because the Two of Pentacles, it's decision making, right? Like, whatever this offertorial, whatever this new opening, this new beginning that's being offered to you is, it's causing you to weigh it out and really think about what works for you and what does not. And the thing with the Two of Pentacles is, this is the big part of it. What feels authentic to you? What feels like it is something that amplifies the things that make you who you are and make you happy, and you feel at your best, and what makes you feel like you are just wearing a mask or where you're carrying extra weight for a situation. And there's something about this situation where you're having to weigh out. Is it really for me? Does it make me feel good? Is this really where I want to put my energy and my time? Or does it make me feel a little bit like I have to play a role, and like I can't really just relax into this, or like I can't just be fully myself? And this is a really big question. And I do think that you want to take this month to let those questions roll through you. This is not a rushed decision. This is not a rushed process. This is not something where you just jump to a conclusion, you think about it for 20 minutes and you jump to a conclusion. This is something that you are mulling over in a series of waves over the course of April. And the key to this whole conversation is this Nine of Cups, because the thing with the Nine of Cups is ease. That's the word that always comes up for me when I see this card. And in your context, it's like, when I look at the Two of Pentacles, right, it's like, and then here's like basically the two states that the Two of Pentacles is weighing out. Do you want to be in this kind of blinded, stuck, freaked out position, or do you want to be here in this easeful, happy, soft, gentle space where you know you're accounted for, where you know that you're safe, where you know you don't have to question, where you know you don't have to constantly follow up and keep things rolling in order to feel good, right? Nine of Cups is so simple. It's almost hard to describe because it's so simple. This guy is enfolded in well-being. He's a little bit portly. Because he doesn't have to worry. He doesn't have to scramble. He's not ever concerned about how am I going to feel emotionally fulfilled every day, because he's just accounted for, right? There's that deep sense of ease. And this is where you're supposed to be headed. And this is your guiding light. You know, this is your lantern in the caverns of life. You want to follow this lantern. You know, we started with the Hermit. The lantern for you is this state of being. Follow this state of being. Follow where you realize this is going to be coming from. Of course, it comes from within us. It comes from cultivating within ourselves a sense of peace and ease and well-being. That's where it all starts. But the more we cultivate that in ourselves, the less we are interested in people or situations that don't offer a reflection of that don't offer an equal offering of that. Now, it's very quite possible that this situation does offer you some ease and happiness and peace. But you're going to have to come to that conclusion in your own, and you're going to have to do it in the quiet, in the introspective, and behind the scenes of everything else working with you. And I do think you're going to want to take some time to really listen in, because it's not something that's just black and white and easy. There's nuance to this. There are questions. There are multiple questions that come up with a situation like this and with a lifestyle change like this that I think it's worthwhile to check in with. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. As usual, you can find me on Instagram at SarahVerba. I would love to see you there. You can also book a session with me on my website, SARAHTAROT.com. I'll leave all of that in the description box below. I'm wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry, as always. I got the crown back on because I just love it. It makes me happy, puts me in a good mood. So you can find all of her beautiful stuff on her Etsy shop. I will also leave that in the description box. She's giving you lovelies 15% off, so you can always go check out everything she makes is one of a kind, and you never really know what she's going to have in her shop next because they are so one of a kind and handmade just by her. So go check that out. I will leave all the goodies, all the people that you want to connect with and work with and create with below, so go check that out. I will see you guys for the May readings for more moon magics. I hope you have a beautiful April. Trust in yourselves, trust in your intuitive guidance system, and I know you're going to do amazing.